Today we are covering what happened in the Fraser Valley real estate market for the month of February. This is particularly important if you are looking to just know what's going on, looking at buying or selling currently in the Fraser Valley or the lower mainland, then this statistics will help you. Before we get into it, brief introduction of myself. My name is Roshan Victor. I'm a real estate professional here in the Fraser Valley, servicing areas like Langley, Surrey, Cloverdale, and the Tri-Cities, and generally the Fraser Valley overall. So if you are looking for data-based information that helps you make a sound decision, then you are at the right place. Hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so that you can be updated on every new video that I put up. We have lots to cover, very less time, and I'll try and make it as engaging as possible. Let's dive right into it. As you can see the screen, the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board recorded 843 sales in the MLS system for February, a 36% increase from January, but a 38% below the 10-year seasonal average. New listings declined by 9% in February 2026 to 2,796, suggesting some sellers are choosing to wait amidst competitive inventory levels and may be positioning their home for the peak of the spring market. So there is a possibility, if this is true, there's a lot more inventory which will be coming to the market shortly, as we are entering into the spring market soon. Overall inventory remains above seasonal norms for the Fraser Valley with 8,344 active listings, up 8% from January and a 51% above the 10-year seasonal average. Now, that is a huge number because if you are looking at bringing your property to the market or you are a buyer on the fence, not knowing which direction the market will go, is it a good time to buy? This statistics is important because from an inventory standpoint, as a buyer, you have a lot more options. And unfortunately, as a seller, you also have a lot more competition to deal with. Does this put downward pressure on the pricing? Definitely it does. Across the Fraser Valley in February, the average number of days to sell a single detached home was 47, while condos was 45 and townhouses was 39. So the average is anywhere from 35 days right up to 50 days. But here's the interesting thing which nobody tells you. This is from the day your property is listed. But there are multiple properties, many of them have been price reduced, taken off the market, and relisted at a new price. So this does not factor in the relists. What I am seeing from my personal experience is right now it is taking anywhere from 85 days to 120 days to actually sell a property. That is the overall timeline required. So if you are looking at bringing your property to the market and either you're upgrading or you have other plans, keep a 4-month window for you to actually have an opportunity of selling and actually encashing on that sale. That is the minimum. 6 months would be ideal. Now, let's see what has overall been done in the real estate market. When we talk about detached homes and we talk about overall the entire Fraser Valley and the Fraser Valley board, detached homes lost approximately 9.4%, whereas townhouses lost 8% year over year and condos lost 11%. However, the biggest loser year over year for detached home was in Abbotsford, also an opportunity. Townhouses in Abbotsford were the lowest losers. Only 5% in value was lost year over year, and condos were at 5.7%. However, let's look at Surrey and Langley, the areas that I focus on. Langley's detached market lost the least, 5.5% approximately year over year, 5.5% for townhouses, and 6.8% for condos. Of course, we all know that we have a lot more inventory for condos, and 6.8% is fairly, I wouldn't say reasonable, but acceptable when you compare that to Surrey, where in Surrey Central, condos lost 13%, townhouses lost 9% in Surrey, and detached homes lost around 10 to 15%, 16% on the median sale price. This is important because if you have a property in Surrey and you were planning for an upgrade or a downgrade or other plans, losing 10% in value year over year is pretty significant, and it can hamper your plans for the future. So make sure that you speak to a professional to actually know your evaluation before you make plans. Now, this gives you overall picture of which areas have lost the most when it comes to townhouses and apartments. If you see an average detached homes for from 2025 to 2026 have lost approximately 10% in areas like Cloverdale, Surrey, North Surrey, and Delta, whereas Abbotsford, Langley have lost 6.5 and 7%. Mission also lost almost 10%. Did in townhouses it was Surrey and South Surrey which lost approximately 8%, and apartments all across the board have lost value. So just based on inventory and people finding difficult to qualify, and also you have to understand the economic dynamic out here with a lot of people unsure and uncertain of how the job market is going to shape up in the future. I have been currently working with an investor who is looking at buying a detached home with 1 to 2 mortgage helpers. And how are we able to select areas? Because when you talk about investments, we just don't talk about areas, we see where the numbers make sense. And if you see right now, the numbers are making a lot more sense for Surrey. Between the 1.25 million to approximately 2 million, there is a girth of inventory, more than 600 units, whereas what we are selling is in the 30s. And this can be shown to you with this particular screen. Let me see if I can. Yeah, the criteria, we have 451 units with 2 kitchens right now in the market up for sale. They start from a decapitated home approximately around 940,000 and goes right up to the millions. But if you see, under we have 138, 39 properties under the 1.5 million mark itself. So this is where we look and find opportunities and for our clients to make sure that we are buying the right product. Of course the numbers make sense, but this is one area in Surrey which is making sense in terms of the price bandwidth. Areas that we are focusing on is Boulevard Heights, Fleetwood. This is my personal preference of Fleetwood because I really like the area, a little more safer, a little better, and Panorama Ridge. These are 3 areas that my clients are focusing on because the numbers make sense for these areas. And if certain sectors have lost 10 to 15%, like I showed you, so it makes total sense because this is where you would have great deals to buy from. When it comes to condos and townhouses, I do have a client looking for townhouses, and that's why we are focusing on between $700,000 and $800,000. It's a 9% sales ratio. That means 9 homes are selling in every 100 that are listed. And if we talk about particularly areas that we are looking at Fleetwood, 127 units, and it's a 13% sales ratio. It is just in the balanced market at this time, which is a good thing because of the excess inventory. We have an opportunity to negotiate that further down. Now let's look at Langley. I have another client who will be soon coming into the market to buy a property in Langley, and we were looking into the price band that he's looking at, and we have great opportunities because between the 1.5 million to $2 million mark, that's where the range. I soon have a client who will be entering the market to buy a detached home in Langley. So I was keeping myself appraised of what's going on. The price band that we are looking at is 1.5 million to $2 million, and looking at options that are available in Langley. As you can see, in the 1.7 to 2 million range, there are 53 properties that are listed but 0 sales. So that's where we have the maximum leverage to actually negotiate. And also 1.5 million to 1.75 million, the sales ratio is 12. That's just on the borderline of buyer's market and balanced market. And that's where we are looking at. The areas that we are looking at is Walnut Grove, as it is a very desirable area for my client. However, it is already in its seller's market. It's a soft seller's market, but it is still there. 8 out of 30 properties are selling. Murrayville is a good one with 21% sales ratio. And then Brookswood is another area we're looking at that has good potential for my clients. And that's also in the balanced market. So overall, when we go to see the Fraser Valley itself, Langley has held up strongly in comparison to other areas. The reason Langley is so desirable and it has not lost value as much as other areas in the Fraser Valley, or even if you have to include Vancouver, Burnaby, and other areas, is simply because the potential growth opportunity that is out there in Langley, based on the new SkyTrain coming in, the new infrastructure that has been built, schools, community centers, parks and recreational areas, and overall the safety of that area and the convenience. Hence, Langley has held its value in a big way. Hope it'll be interesting to see in March as we get into the spring break how the property, how the inventory that has come down by 10%, whether that comes back into the market, how many more buyers come to the market, and will we have an active spring market? It's unknown at this point. Talking to buyers, because of the uncertainty of the economy, the job situation, uh, most of them are on the fence for two reasons. One is job, and second is, can we get better price than what it is today, or is the market suppose will the market go down, and can we capitalize on that? Well, as of most experts saying, the market is going to be same or similar to the 2025. It may lose another 3 to 5%, especially in the condo category. So, yeah, if that's the segmentation that you're looking at, or looking into getting, yes, there is an opportunity there. Again, this is speculation, nothing is confirmed. Uh, if you find the right home, plus or minus 3%, will it make that big a difference? That's a question which you need to answer. And yes, the Fraser Valley is holding pretty well in terms of its numbers. I think it has reached its almost bottom, and this year will be much more stable and gives you an opportunity of choosing from that vast inventory which is out there to make the right choice for you. Hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't done so already, click the subscribe button, hit the bell icon. If you want a one-on-one consult with me, there's a link in the bio. You can book a time directly into my calendar. Looking forward to chatting with you guys. Until the next video, have yourself a wonderful day.